And good morning. Thank you for joining us. I am Pharmacist Ben, and you are listening to The Bright Side. This is your common sense nutritional program where we simplify the world of nutrition. We simplify the world. We cut it down to its basics. You get power when you cut things down to their basic, most fundamental layer. Everything comes from an implicate. This is high-tech physics, by the way. Everything comes from an implicate and is manifested explicitly on the outside. Everything comes from an inside part, and that's what I like to do on this program. That's what I like to do in my life personally, is deconstruct. There's so many things that we take for granted in our reality, and we don't ever examine why we believe them, why we think they're real, why we think they're true. And that's what we're going to be talking about at the bottom of the hour, by the way, with our guest Faye Mandel, author of a book called Self-Powerment, The Gateway to a New Way of Living. I've been reading this book for many years, for 15 years or so, 15, 16 years. It's a tiny little book, about 100 pages, 139 pages, but man, is it packed with good, powerful information. And I'm super excited to talk to Dr. Faye Mandel. Bottom of the hour, we'll take your phone calls at 844-236-6010 in our second segment, 844-236-6010. If you have questions about anything we're speaking about here today, or if you just have a comment or success story about these crazy times we're living in and how you're dealing with it. I don't like getting too political. You know, it's hard not to get political when you're being dominated by political agents, if you will. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening now, is the individual is being dominated by political agents. So it's kind of fascinating, kind of interesting, and kind of important. But I don't like getting too much in the weeds politically. But if you have anything about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, or the situation that we're dealing with from a health perspective, love to hear from you, 844-236-6010. If you want to purchase longevity products, head to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com, or call 866-735-2470 and ask about signing up to join the Brightside Ben team. If you want to be part of a billion-dollar health business, and if you want to be part of the longevity family, it's a great family. I guess it's a webinar. I was part of a webinar. I was a presenter on a webinar this weekend, and I got to talk about my 10 favorite longevity products. And I got cut off by my friend Tom. I ran out of time. Actually, I had to go, and I didn't get to talk about my top 4. I think I got cut off at 7. So in no particular order, my favorite longevity products: Restart Your Life, Beta-Glucan. Actually, you know what? Excuse me. Before I go into that, I want to tell you about our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com. Never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, emulsifiers. Nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our Truth Skin Health products. That's truthtreatments.com. And I also want to remind you about our nutritional supplement website. Thank you, Robert, for setting that up. That is truthnurishment.com. Truthnurishment.com. All right, so this Saturday I was a presenter on a webinar put on by my friend Tom Chenault on various subjects: Dr. Glidden, Dr. Wallach, Dr. Conaway, Richard Renton, Sanjeev, Javi. There were a bunch of really cool people on this who were presenting, and I was proud to be and honored to be part of it. And I talked about my 10 favorite, although I only got to number 7, longevity products. So I'm going to tell you what those are here, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I love these things real quickly, and then I want to talk a little bit about something very interesting that's going on with this virus that people are starting to notice. We'll talk about that as soon as I get through these. Restart Your Life. That's the Beta-Glucan product. I talked about how I like multifunctionality. You guys know I like multifunctionality. One of the reasons I like nutrition in general is because it's multifunctional. It's not like with a drug. You take a beta blocker for your heart, or you take glucophage for your blood glucose, or you take a calcium channel blocker for your blood pressure. With drugs, you take this for that. I call it this for that. You have this problem, you have that problem, you take this drug. Nutrition doesn't work that way. It's broad. It covers numerous systems, so you get multiple benefits, and that's why I like nutritional supplementation in general. And then specific nutritional supplements, I like more, the ones I really gravitate towards are the ones that are individually multifunctional. So Restart Your Life is Beta-Glucan, and Beta-Glucan is being presented in marketing. You got to present it as a certain. You can't confuse the subject or the people who are listening or hearing your message, because you have multiple messages. It gets confusing. So they always target one thing. But you got to know they get all these side benefits. Restart Your Life is marketed for the immune system. Beta-glucan is very important for the immune system. It stimulates cells of the immune system, but it's also great for cholesterol, for blood fats and cholesterol, lowering blood fats and cholesterol. It has heart health benefits. Now, when I say lower cholesterol, it doesn't do it chemically. It supports the dumping out of cholesterol. Cholesterol has to be dumped out. Cholesterol is not, it kind of cycles through the body and then it's eliminated. It's eliminated through bile mostly, but there's other ways that it can be eliminated, and beta-glucan helps with that. Beta-glucan also supports blood fats. Beta-glucan has important liver health benefits. Beta-glucan is important for the skin. And that's all in Restart Your Life. So you take it for your immune system and look at all the side benefits you get. It's pretty amazing, right? There's no drug that can do that. Fucoidan Z, that's another one. Unbelievably multifunctional. Fucoidan Z is basically brown algae. It's a component of brown algae, and it's like beta-glucan. It's a very fundamental molecule. That's what's really cool about beta-glucan and fucoidan, is they're really basic molecules. They're everywhere. They're abundant. They're some of nature's most abundant molecules, fucoidan and beta-glucan. Yet they've got more powerful health benefits than any drug. Let me say that again. Among the most common of molecules on planet Earth in nature have more health benefits than any prescription drug, with zero toxicity or side effects. And these are incredibly basic. Fucoidan is being, again, for the immune system, it's presented as an immune system booster, which it is, but it's also a great blood thinner. And when I say blood thinning, I mean it spreads red blood cells, it disperses them in the blood so that the blood can move with greater facility. And when that happens, you get better delivery of nutrients, you get better delivery of oxygen, you get better detoxification, you get better health everywhere. That means everything. You benefit with everything. So yeah, you take it for your immune system, but you're going to benefit cellular health, the health of the cell, which means benefits everywhere. It's like a tonic. It's one of the best tonics you could ever take. The drink has a little sugar in it, and it's sweet. It's tasty. It's definitely tasty. But the Fucoidan Z capsules, that's called the Z radical. The Fucoidan Z capsules are much more dense with nutrition. In any case, the blood thinning effect, and also it's important for helping build connective tissue, which means it's anti-wrinkle, which means it's going to be good for your heart, which means it's going to be good for your internal structure, your fascia, keep your organs in place, good for your bone. That's a lot of benefits. Ultimate EFA. I'm never going to get through these 10. I'll just tell you what they are when I come back from our break, and then we'll take your phone calls. 844-236-6010 is our number. And then I want to tell you something interesting that I discovered, that I've been talking about, but I just want to reinforce about this whole COVID thing. 844-236-6010 is our number. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. We're back on The Bright Side. I am Pharmacist Ben. I was going to go through these 10 favorite longevity products, but I think I'm going to hold off on that, and we'll just go over them one by one over the coming days on The Bright Side. Restart Your Life and Fucoidan I am especially fond of, and by the way, these are in no particular order except for number one, my number one favorite, which you guys all know, I'm sure. Restart Your Life and Fucoidan are multifunctional, and they're very simple, basic molecules, which means that they're going to be completely gentle and non-toxic, which they are. Take as much as you want of them. They're food, basically, Fucoidan and Restart Your Life. And they're also tremendously multifunctional. We'll go over the rest of these in the coming days. I got Faye Mandel coming up at the bottom of the hour. Dr. Faye Mandel is the author of the book Self-Powerment, which I could not recommend more. It's a little tricky. I've been reading it for many years, even though it's only 132 pages, and I'm very excited to talk to Dr. Mandel about her model of self-empowerment. The book's called Self-Powerment, and we'll talk to her at the bottom of the hour, and we'll get to your calls in this segment, 844-236-6010. So real quick, I discovered, I should have known this, but I've been talking about the blood and the importance of the blood, and how this is a blood issue, this COVID thing. Speaking of COVID here, it's a blood condition, largely. No surprise, dirty blood is a problem, and if you have dirty blood, you're going to be predisposed to being symptomatic. Clean the blood. That's what you do. You clean the blood to get healthier. You make the blood healthier, and you will be healthier. You make the blood stronger, and you will be stronger. You make the blood more resistant to disease, and you will be more resistant to disease, because as goes the blood, so goes us. Clean the blood. Take care of the blood. When I talk about the digestive system and the blood sugar system, the two fundamental points on the triangle of disease, I'm essentially referring to the blood. The reason the digestive system is so critical is because things get into the blood. The reason why the blood sugar system is important is because sugar in the blood whacks it out, messes things up, throws off chemistry. Sugar in the blood has to be tightly controlled. Sugar is very out of control stuff at the quantum molecular level, at the atomic quantum level, which is where you got to play if you want to have power here. It wreaks havoc. It destroys things. It's like a quantum-sized bull in a china shop. And so sugar is between blood sugar and between toxicity that gets into the blood in the digestive system. You have your health issue, the main cause of all your health issues, as well as susceptibility to COVID. And now we're finding out that it is indeed, it involves red blood cells and hemoglobin and the way oxygen is delivered and handled by red blood cells, etc. That's what they're thinking. That's the latest thinking. So I should have known this, but I was surprised. I learned something new, that copper is an essential nutrient for helping T cells, B cells, and natural killer cells and macrophages, helping clean the blood. This is the part of the non-antibody part of the immune system, and copper plays a really important role in there. And this is interesting to me because zinc and copper go together, and everybody's taking zinc, and if you take too much zinc, you can run the risk of copper deficiency. So if you are taking zinc, and you should be, and I've talked about a lot, but what I haven't talked about a lot is balancing out with copper. Talk about it sometimes, but I haven't really emphasized it, and that's a very important point. If you're using zinc, number one, for dealing with COVID, dealing with this health issue, or dealing with the immune system, and even if you're not taking zinc, copper on its own has its own benefits. It helps balance out zinc, and then it has its own immune boosting benefits. 2 to 4 milligrams of copper glycinate or copper chelate is a good place to be. You will get some copper in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, that's for sure, and you'll get copper in a lot of the longevity products actually. But just take 2 to 4 milligrams. It doesn't hurt you to take 2 to 4 milligrams every day, even with your longevity products, even if you're getting a milligram or two from other sources. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben, and it's time to hit the phones. Let's go to Rory in California and say good morning. What's up, Rory? How you doing?
Hey, good. Thanks, Ben. Good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
A couple questions. First off, skin. So years, probably 20 years ago, I had two, I don't know if you call them sunspots, were on my face, left under the eye, and then on the nose. And I just went to a dermatologist just about the time Doc Wallach was coming on the air, so I wasn't thinking proactive nutrients at all. And he did a little, I guess, liquid nitrogen, a little freeze or type deal to get rid of them. And the one under my left eye still kind of hangs around, and it kind of will scab up. Not total scab, but a little flaky. So
does it change shape? Does it change shape or color?
No.
Okay.
No. It's pretty flat. It's not like a bump or anything.
Got it.
But
is it red or is it brownish?
Brownish. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And and I've been taking the BTT at all since, pretty much faithfully since 2005-06 now.
Okay.
To get over a lower back pinch nerve thing, which had helped tremendously. Never did surgery or anything, and it corrected.
Nice.
But, yeah, really good. So anyhow, what are your thoughts?
You want some ideas on that?
Your truth treatment.
Retinol, definitely retinol. That is literally a job for retinol, is to help with that kind of stuff. But I'm not convinced, based on what you said, that you're dealing with a skin problem. You may be dealing with something called lipofuscin. Do you know what that is?
Correct. Yep, I've heard you discuss that.
Do you think? Do you think that does it look like that?
It's possible. Well, it's possible, but
is it deeper? Is it deeper? Does it look to appear to be deeper?
No, it looks to be
Surface. Superficial.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Then it's probably not lipofuscin. Then retinol is the way to go. Absolutely. And if you use retinol and vitamin C together, I'd start off with the 1%.
Okay, that's your.
Or get the one. This here. Yeah, Truth Retinol 1% gel, or Truth Retinol 2% spot treatment. Either way. How old are you, by the way?
I just turned 60.
Oh wow, you sound great. But just use it as an overall. Use it as an overall skin tonic or skin nutritional supplement, if you will, topical nutritional supplement, and then spot treat.
Okay, I'm jotting that down. Yeah, I mean
you get 25% vitamin C in there too, and they go together.
Yes, and I've used Longevity's products for a long time, and finally, started using your guys' EFA. Well, probably 5 years ago. So
the Ultimate EFA?
Decent. Yeah, the Ultimate, exactly. So I work with Dave Michaels. So,
are you in Santa Cruz? Are you in Santa Cruz?
Yeah, I'm in South Santa Cruz County.
Have I ever met you? Have we ever met?
I think so. Because one time you were at one of the the Portuguese Hall, or MZ Portuguese Hall there.
Yeah, many years ago.
You helped my daughter. She had significant acne, and you walked her through it, and it was just amazing.
That's awesome. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
I wish I could take credit for it, but that's just how, it's just how the body works. I can't take credit for that.
Yes, I know. But she was motivated, and you're a good teacher.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But and so anyway, we did meet on occasion. I think we met maybe at a.
I vaguely remember talking to you, your name and everything. I'm out of time. Hey, Roy, I don't know what your other question was, but we're out of time. So it was nice talking to you. Halitosis, think digestion first. There's also gum disease as another issue. Those are the first two things I would do for halitosis. Thanks for the call, Rory. Appreciate it. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Dr. Faye Mandel coming up in our next segment. Don't go away. All right, we are back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben, and thank you for joining us. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, and 24/7 on our archive page at brightsideben.com. Also on our blog, pharmacistben.com. We've got a listen now function. Thank you to Robert for setting that one up, and also criticalhealthnews.com. Got lots of videos and articles and blogs. Blog posts, lots of good health information, always free. criticalhealthnews.com, brightsideben.com, and pharmacistben.com. And don't forget to take a look at our skin health products at truthtreatments.com and our nutritional supplements at truthnurishment.com. All right, I am very, very excited to have our guest on. Dr. Faye Mandel is the author of this cute little book. I am telling you, it's about you'll think when you look at it, you could read it in an hour, but I've been reading it for over 15 years, because it is just packed with very brilliant, insightful, simple, and most importantly, useful, because I am a utilitarian at heart. Things have to be useful. Useful information that you can use to really do exactly what the title of the book says, to self-powerment, to empower yourself. So please welcome to the bright side my friend now, as I've gotten to know Faye over the last month or so, Dr. Faye Mandel. Hey, Faye.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, it's nice to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for your book, which is very, as I've told you, has been very meaningful to me. I love simplicity and I love elegance. Scientists love elegance. So, elegance is when you can get a lot of results from a little bit of action. A little bit of input gives you a lot of output, leverage. So, an elegant experiment is one that's very simple but gives you a lot of powerful information. Your book is very elegant in that sense. Do you hear an echo there? I have an echo. Are you on a cell by any chance?
Yeah, I'm on a cell.
You're on a cell. Oh yeah, see if we can handle this. Jason, is that us? It seems to be better. Yeah. Okay, let's continue and see if we can continue this. So tell us a little bit about the whole concept of time and space, without as simple as you can present it, with the wonderful analogies you do, and how that relates to power and being powerful in your life.
Okay, so I have a PhD in psychology, a master's in clinical, and a PhD in counseling, and was living in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and was practicing. And it was good, but it wasn't great, and it wasn't transformational. And so in Cambridge, Massachusetts, you have to go to school. It's an unwritten law. And so I went to Cambridge Adult Education and got a book. And there were so many courses that I said, I'm just going to put my finger down. Little did I recognize that random is the order of the universe. And I put my finger down, and I thought I'd take photography or meditation. And the course was called Quantum Physics and the Face of God. Now, I went through my entire educational experience without taking a physics course. Physics were for the smart people at Harvard and MIT. I just wanted to be helpful to people. And I took the course, though, and it was given by Fred Allen Wolf, who is an extraordinary
I love him.
physicist.
He's one of the first guys I got in. He's the first guy I got into.
Yep, and what he taught me was the meaning of the equation E equals MC squared, which started my whole journey to figure out why reality is not as it seems. Because he said that energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. So if we could all go 286,000 miles per second squared, that desk or that chair would be white light. And I said, that's ridiculous. This is as solid as my body. And they said, that's right. Your body changes atoms every 7 days. And so I began my journey and my quest to find out how to get to the direct experience of what is so in reality.
Hang on, Faye. Let me repeat that back. You wanted to understand how we could take what we know is true on an invisible quantum level and make it real in our perception and in our life. Is that right?
Perfect.
Okay.
You said it better than I could say.
Well, no, that's why I just want to sum it up. Okay, that's great, though. That's awesome. I love that.
Yes. So what happened was I began to experience, because I was a therapist and I worked with people, that talking about the problems that they have only reinforces the problem. Because what you're paying attention to becomes what's real.
Love it. That's
I began to say, well, what else could we use besides the content? And I said, maybe we'll use the structure. How are the actual thought processes created to tell us where we are in time and space? Because the present moment in the English language is I am. Am is a verb that says that you're in the now, and I is a pronoun that says your attention is focused inward. So I said, what other places can we go? So we can go to the future, which would be words like will and should, or we can go to the past, shoulda, coulda, woulda, did or was, or we could focus our attention outside of ourselves to he and she and the government and the corporations, or we could go in the terms of self-doubt. So I began to develop this model, which is a GPS to self-empowerment, where you find out where you are and use that to connect to the feeling, which you didn't take action on the feeling, and the body with a superior intelligence brings you right back to the present moment.
Okay, hang on, Faye, hang on. So you're saying that you come back out of space-time. Most of the time we're living our lives in this thing called space-time. And you're saying
Correct.
Return from there to the now, to the present, the immediate present,
Yes.
not the future, not the past. We're usually anticipating or worrying, or we're thinking about the future thing, correct? And you're saying just come right down to what's happening now via this I am thing that you're going to tell us about?
That's right. That's
Okay.
right.
Okay,
Because
good.
in the I am, you are your direct experience. You are not being or doing something. You are the direct experience of what is happening. So that it's not I doing the dishes. Doing the dishes is the manifestation of me at that moment. So that you lose your ego there. So you become the experience of the direct moment. And that changes everything, because all of the forms that you learn are in your thoughts. And thoughts, by definition, are an abstraction and move you in linear time. So the minute you're thinking, cannot be present.
Okay, so what's the alternative to thinking from a practical standpoint? What does it feel like, this alternative to thinking? Because we live in thinking so much, we take it for granted. We don't realize there's an alternative. So what does that alternative feel like? How can we know we're in that alternative?
I got it. You pay attention to the information that's coming from your body, not from your head. Thoughts are the language of the brain, and feelings are the language of the body. So you have to turn your attention off of the thoughts and onto the information from your body, which is giving you information moment by moment by moment by moment about how to not only stay alive, but how to stay at your best potential.
Yeah. So your body is constantly, it's the truest source of what's happening because it's constantly present. It's not in the future and the past. There's no way the body can be in the future or the past, right?
Can I listen to you sometime? You're terrific. You're really able to frame it in a beautifully simple way. I love it.
No, I've just been reading your book for 15 years. So no, I'm just repeating it back because it's such an elegant model. It's so powerful. It's so easy to understand this idea because we're always in our heads, and we suffer from that. And it's not real in our heads. It's just neurons. It's just like quantum flux. What the heck's in our heads? That's another deep question, right? What the heck's in our heads? What is this thing called thought? What is this thing called thought? I ponder this a lot, by the way, Faye. What is this thing we call thought? All right, sit with that for a second. It sounds abstract, but it's very, very practical. And as I was telling you earlier, utilitarianism. It's got to be useful, and this is very useful. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're talking to Dr. Faye Mandel. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. We're back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're talking to Dr. Faye Mandel, author of the book Self-Powerment. And Dr. Mandel has been, I have to say, she didn't know this, but she was kind of a mentor of mine through her book, which I've been reading for 15 or 16 years. And it was very fortuitous. It's kind of weird, kind of strange how we met, Faye, wouldn't you say? Kind of, although there's no accidents, of course. Before we went to break, we were talking, Faye, about thoughts and the concept of thoughts. I don't expect you to answer the question, but because nobody knows. But it's an interesting question to pose, though. What the heck is a thought, considering it has so much power over our lives, correct?
Yes, and thought, by its very definition, is an abstraction of an experience because you're always thinking about something. And when you're thinking about something, you leave the present moment. So thought is not in the present moment. It's always about an experience that you have had. And
Past
so
or
it
present.
comes in the form of a mental representation that is stored as a memory. And so what happens is that when you want to create a new reality, you go back into your memory bank and you repeat the same stuff. That gets projected into the future. And so it's like one of those little hamsters that run the wheel over and over and over again.
It's like same crap.
It's very limiting that way.
Like they say, same crap, different day kind of thing, right? You ever heard that?
Yes.
It's the same, because you're going in your memory, you're pulling it out. It happens over and over and over. It's a Groundhog Day. We're living in Groundhog Day, in a way. So,
well,
but
those
you said,
people who live in thought are living in Groundhog Day.
If you live in thought, you're living in Groundhog Day. That's right. And it may not be literally in the experiences, but your feeling, your interpretation of the experience is almost exactly the same today as it was yesterday and the day before and the day before. And that's why people's lives continuously are the same, because they're going into their memory banks, as you say, correct?
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Correct.
So you said...
And the very interesting part of thought is that most people think that thought is objective and feelings are subjective. And it's exactly the opposite.
Thought
is subjective because it's an abstraction and you can put in your own subjective evaluation, where in the direct experience, it is what it is.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now, you said this is something super cool that I like in the book. I don't know if you remember all this stuff, because when did you write this book? In the 90s? When did it come out?
And there's been several iterations since the book you have.
It's the cutest little thing, man. I mean, I love this book. So anyway, so you say something. You used an analogy of gelatin in a mold. Do you remember this one? This one. Okay, so what struck me interesting about that is the content of the thought is the jello, and what you're talking about is the structure, this time-space phenomena that you're talking about. That's the mold. So if you take the mold out, there's no more thought. Thought requires that. It doesn't exist without that. Correct?
Correct. So thought does not exist without time and space.
Yeah, that's so.
When you're in the present moment, you let go of those two forms; they don't exist, and so then you get to infinite possibilities. You're not limited by the forms of time and the forms of space.
do you know how many people are driven crazy by their thoughts? They can't sleep. They can't meditate. They can't have a second of peace of mind because of their thoughts. And all they have to do is go into their body, and you will deactivate the thought. If you go into the body and become somatic, and that's why I think, Faye, the news and politics and this information thing that we've got going on, we somehow are disempowered by all of that because it takes us away from where our true power is, which is in the present and in the body. Correct?
Absolutely correct. And the most powerful part of that whole thing is that we have the capacity to shift our attention from the thoughts to the body. We have that capacity, except no one knows they have it and they don't know how to use it.
So you don't talk about this in the book, but I'm sure you must talk about somewhere about the breath, about using the breath to get into the body. What do you think about that?
I think that once you're present, the breath is fundamental.
So
it's not going to get you there.
It's not going to get you there.
You're right. I don't believe it will get you there, but once you're there, it will keep you there.
It will anchor you there. Do you get there cognitively? Yeah. You get there cognitively with just intent and volition?
Well, you have to assume that you're always, I ask people how much percentage of any day they spend thinking, and they give me 95 to 98. So most people are not present. So you have to almost re-engineer back to the present, which is the methodology of the model. And then once you get present, then you want to stay there because then that's the place in which you have infinite possibilities and you understand your purpose in life.
So Eckhart Tolle, I noticed Eckhart Tolle, by the way, loves your book, which I'm not surprised.
Yes.
And he says, focus on your hand. Have you? He says, so can you get in? He doesn't say it the way you say it. He just says focus on your hand. He just tells you to focus on your hand if you're having a problem of some kind. But what you're saying, the way I'm hearing you say, is by focusing on your body or the wisdom of your body, what we call it on this program, the wisdom or the intelligence of the body, focusing somehow on the body, which is a miracle, by the way. There's plenty to focus on in the body. It's a pretty amazing system, the body. You can enter into this magical place, this realm called the now or the present, where all your power really resides by focusing on the body.
The problem is, there's two problems. One is, let me give you the good news first. The good news first is that in his book, The Inner Reaches of Outer Space, the author says that we are as vast from the skin inward as the universe is from the skin outward. So there's not a lot of things. It's enormous what's in there. It's infinite what's in there. That's the first. But the bad news is we're addicted to the thoughts. And you have to give it the reverence of an addiction, because if you don't give it that, you'll breathe, and then something will happen out there, and then you'll go right back into your thoughts.
That's so powerful. We are addicted. I'm addicted to thoughts. I know personally. I am an addict. Hello, my name is Ben, and I am an addict because I am addicted to thought. Right? And I think we're all addicts in that way because we are conditioned, and it's conditioning from the time you're a child. It's like a virus. It's stuck in there. It's not going to just come out on its own. So giving it reverence is really a nice way of saying that. And the Inner Reaches of Outer Space. Are you talking about? Is that Joseph Campbell's book that you're talking about?
That's Joseph Campbell's book. Yes.
That's great. That's great. Yes, the idea that there is an inner correspondence, an inner correlate to what we see outer is another very powerful idea a meta idea that you can use. I don't think you don't talk about that in your book. What do you think about that idea?
I don't think about it. I know that that's the truth. Yeah. I know that it's all vibration out there, and it comes in here, and we put our algorithms and our codes on it, and we put our form on it, and then we project it back outside as reality.
So how do you deal with day-to-day reality, having this understanding? Do you find it frustrating? Are you super patient as a teacher? Do you wish you took a left instead of a right when you incarnated on planet Earth?
I really am. I get the biggest joy when my clients get an aha that they don't have to think about it, they just have to do it. Yeah. And that they will learn more from just doing it than spending all of that time thinking about it and using their vital energy that they have every day to function. It takes a tremendous amount of energy to create a thought.
Yeah, it does.
Right? Because it's not real. Oh, that's what I wanted to share with you.
To hold it.
The good news...
To to hold and maintain a thought takes a lot of energy. You're trying to keep something there that doesn't exist.
And we only have X amount every day, and so
that's right.
if we're using it all thinking, and then we look at our to-do list and we don't have any energy, it feels hopeless.
Yeah. That's why, in the Bible it says to know something. You know what to know means in the Bible? It means to actually be sexual, like Adam knew Eve. And so when you actually know something, you become one with it somatically. There's that aha experience that you're talking about is different from just merely reading something, in the sense that it becomes part of your body when you know something. When you really know something, it becomes you. You're unified.
That's why you never have to go back to remember.
You have to go back.
You don't have to go back to remember, because it's already involved with your body.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. That's when you really know something. Robert Heinlein, did you ever read Robert Heinlein's story? He calls it grokking, right? To grok,
yes.
right? You're talking about grok. He had to make up a word because we don't have a word for it. So he called it grok. And so what you're talking about is actually to grok something, to have it in your body, right? And the funny thing is the beliefs that we rule our world, like democracy and America and COVID and all the stuff, none of those are in our body. They're all in our mind, right? None of those are things that we actually know. Like, we don't grok them. We live right?
We can grok them, and that's what's so very interesting. We do have the capacity to make relationship with the things that are good for us and the things that aren't so good for us.
We can still grok it.
We need to have that relationship so that we can keep in balance.
That's awesome, Faye. Thank you so much. And thank you for being on, and thank you for your book, and thank you for your work. It's a pleasure and an honor, and I'm sure I'll talk to you soon, Faye. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much for having me.
Take care, Faye. That's Dr. Faye Mandel, the book Self-Powerment. She's got multiple books, but that's like the basic self-powerment, and it's a super, I can't rave about it enough. It's 139 pages of deliciousness and great insights. All right, thanks for listening to The Bright Side. I am Pharmacist Ben. Have a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to you later. Bye for now.